Simply the best. That's you. That's you. Thank you very much. Well, I'll tell you what, I am very excited with today, and man, I'll tell you what, I'm proud to be Cheryl's teammate. First of all, I wished I'd been at that kitchen. I wished I'd been at that interview, you know, and I just sick of Cheryl, go on, yeah, that's right, you know, because I'd love to get after the competition, and there really isn't any, you know, and just it's so pathetic, it's so sad, you know, when people are just, and they know too. So anyway, what a day, you know. I feel like my heart is so full, and I just know that there are so many people that are ready. You know clearly what you got to do, and you're ready, and I know that we can count on the Pacific Northwest to help us go on ahead and lift this company. You know, what we've done. First of all, we've broken every record in the industry. We've broken the code in financial services, and here we are, the best of the best, and still feeling like a half-butt. You know, is that crazy? Is that crazy? And all I remember is at a time when I had gotten my butt kicked in this business, all I could hear over and over, when I made the decision, I'm coming back, nothing's going to stop me, all I could hear over and over was, Cheryl, you be proud of you and your team. Right? And I want you to, Art always used to tell me that, and I just want you to know that it's important that you will be proud of you and your team. Right? The team you have right now is the team that you're going to win with. You know, and it's a new day, and it's a new time. You know, and I just feel that right now, most of you are closer than you think. You know, and I think that if we wake up every day with a clear vision of what we want, what our goals and what our dreams are, you know, all your dreams can come true. I can't remember, I was talking to somebody as we were out having a bite to eat, and we were talking, maybe it was to Tricia, and I said, you know, really my dream is to help the people that I love make their dreams come true, their wishes come true. There's nothing that makes me happier than that, you know. And so I just wanted to share a little bit with you folks. It really isn't, I mean, certainly the money that we've made, the money we've saved, the things we have and all like that, that's something, but really what it's about for me, it's about my family, it's about my friends, it's about really doing something that I am so proud of. You know, there's a lot of different ways to make money, but there's no other Primerica. There's nothing like us, and nor will there ever be, because of the culture we have, because of the years and years of commitment and friendship. That's what we're about. See, that's unbreakable. And so anyway, let's just talk about show you a little bit of a dream talk. This is my mom. And you know, my mom now is 93 years old. I was talking to her on the lunch break. And this is, I had been in the business, I had been promoted to RVP, and it was like maybe, I don't know, a year and a half after I was an RVP, and I got a call from my little sister. My sister lives in New York, and she said, you know, Cheryl, have you heard about Mom? And I could tell by the sound of her voice that something was wrong. Now, you have to understand, my mother is the most independent, toughest, she is awesome. I was telling her at lunch, I was sitting down the steps by the escalator, and she was just saying, oh, I'm proud because this and that, and my kids or whatever. And I said, you know, Mom, I am so happy that God gave me to you, you know, because I was a hyperactive kid. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm glad I got the right mom. And she is an amazing person. She came from the greatest generation. So she can be practically on her deathbed, and she is going to go to work. And when I got this call, Jerry said, you know, Cheryl, have you heard about Mom? I could tell. Mom, unfortunately, my parents were divorced after 36 years, and Mom was living by herself down in San Diego, and she was working, and I could tell by the sound of her voice, and she hadn't been able to go to work for a week, and she'd gotten high blood pressure and diabetes, and it really had set her back a little bit, and I was able to make that call, and I said, Mom, I don't care what you're making, just quit, and we'll take care of that for you. My mother's like, no, I can take care of myself, thank you very much, and all like that, so I knew I had to convince her a little bit, and I said, look, Mom, I'm up here in Northern California. I am working my fingers to the bone, 24/7, and if you moved out, we can have a family business. You can help me. right? And then, you know, on days that you needed some time or something like that, you could take it. Would you please consider it? And she did, and that was 26 years ago, you know, and without a doubt, we've been able to extend her life. Without a doubt, we've been able to extend her life, you know, and she's gone to the conventions, and she's gone to the meetings, and you know, I'll never forget, like, the night we were put on the Wall of Fame. We were in the New Orleans Dome, and my mom was down front, and they announced that, and I went up on the stage, and my mom was like the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center, you know. Well, to me, how one mother can raise 3 children, and 3 children can't take care of 3 mothers, how 3 kids can't take care of 1 mom, is beyond me, you know. But what I know is if I was still working with the state of California, I couldn't have made that offer, right? And so money, well, Cheryl, money isn't everything. It sure is when your mama needs help. It's everything, you know, and we've been able to do that. My mother loves the Kentucky Derby, and the first Saturday of every May is like Super Bowl day at my mother's house. She has a party, people come over, she has the chips, the dips, the everything. And so when Brian Mayman told me he had seats on the finishing line, box seats, I said, oh my gosh, he said, you should bring your mom. And I go, seriously, can I bring my sister too? And he said, sure, right? So I flew mom in first class, you know, from San Francisco. I thought the Kentucky Derby was like a race. No, it is like a week of parties like you cannot believe. Daryl and Connie were there with us, and a bunch of our Primerica friends. And my mom, well, first of all, we just had a blast, you know, and I will never forget the day that we were there. She was the happiest 87-year-old at the Kentucky Derby, and the Queen of England was there that day, and she was seated right above us, and people were going like, Cheryl, do you want to go see the Queen? There's the Queen of England. Do you want to go out and look at the Queen of England? I said, I got the Queen of California sitting right next to me. That's all I need, right? But to be able to share those, she said to me, I'll never, ever forget this day that I could be with you and Geraldine. And that's my little sister. There, she is an actor in New York, and pretty cool. And you have to wear these hats, right, Connie? We all had on our hats and stuff. Daryl had on his hat, too. It wasn't quite as big as the rest of ours, but he still had his hat. My dad is a retired military colonel. He was a pilot and flew B-52s. And so when he turned 85, we did a Lifetime Achievement Award. Folks, you know what? I think it's important that we honor our parents, you know, and do that. Right now, my mother has just gotten out of the hospital about a week ago, and we have 24-hour care for her in her home. We've got the most wonderful, I call them our A-team. We have Anisha and Arlene, and they are there with her. Usually, we just have maybe about 10 hours a day. They're in and just helping her with stuff. But now is that time, and you know what? Money isn't everything. Well, it is when you want your mom home. Right. It is when you want the, you know, and so I think that it's worth it, you know, to do that, just to be recognized, to be in an environment where you can be recognized in your peers, you know, when you work hard, to be surrounded with people where maybe you can touch their lives in a positive way. I'm just talking to you about what my dream is. This is Josh and Tracy Payne. You know, they'll go to RVP. They're going to be incredible. They're going to be a big, big hierarchy in Primerica. This is Charles and Carolina. They're already, so they went to RVP. They're already over 200,000. Got their first RVP now. They'll be senior vice president next year. This is Marion and Dennis. You know, so these are young people, and they had to do it, but maybe I had some little thing to do to be able to help them build their life. You know, maybe they'll play that forward, and maybe we'll be able to touch thousands of more lives because we did this. It's good to have fun when you're doing this too. It's good to have fun. You know, I mean, we're actually in a pretty serious business, but to be able to have fun. This is down at the that LA meeting we had. Well, in our builder schools like this and stuff like that, it is not uncommon that we do what we call stage diving. You know, and so the guys, they go and everybody stands down there, and after they've gotten their award, and they go and they just dive like this. You know, so they all wanted me to dive. I said, yeah, sure, but I'm going like, well, I'm not going to dive like that. So I had already practiced my dive, and I dive out and I turn over like that. So we were at the we were down at the LA deal, and I didn't realize them that what I was doing. They were going, come on, do the stage dive, do the stage. I go, okay, you guys can catch me. I go, all right. So I got up. And I said, all right, and I was like this, and I was playing with them and stuff, and I went out and I did my dive, and they helped me out and stuff like that. Well, then other people started doing it. Pretty soon Glenn's up there like, okay, no more stage surfing, no more stage surfing. It's like, but folks, you know what? When you can have fun, that's what this is about. Look, if you will stop working Primerica and start playing Primerica and play to compete and play to win, right? That's when it gets fun. To be around people that you are respect and people of influence. Bill Whittle is somebody who's a real hero of mine, you know? And they just think he's just great, and I don't know how they can make one person so perfect. I mean, he's so good in all areas, and I think that the people you associate with, the CDs you listen to, and the books you read, that's who you become, right? You have the opportunity to surround yourself with great people. Art, for some reason, Art took an interest in me when I was in district, and I was at a meeting, and I'd done more kitchen tables, I think, than anybody in the base shop that I was growing up in. So my room was him, and we were next to his in the hotel. We were friends, and when he came out to do a school for me, he flew. This is how cool Art is. He and Angela were in San Francisco. Now, San Jose is like, what, a 45-minute drive. Seriously, he flew from San Francisco to San Jose. I'm like, that's big. Right? Like a 9-minute flight or something, you know. But anyway, he was there, and he's my hero. You know, a big part of what I am today is because of the respect and admiration and how I've worked to really emulate Art Williams, you know, and he has changed millions and millions of lives. You know, this is my family, and Jess had won the award in licensing at the convention, but just to be able to have your kids in a clean, wholesome environment. When she turned 18, for her graduation and for her birthday, she wanted a Scion, you know, and I checked it out, and the safety rating on Scions is really terrific. So I got a Scion, but I ordered one with extra airbags, right? So if anybody even bumps into her, she's like Michelin Man immediately. You know, it's like, she cannot be, because when you got precious cargo, you know, it makes a difference. And it was interesting because she and Jennifer, her friend, we parked it up on the front of the lawn, and they were driving. Jennifer was driving, thank the Lord there was no other traffic on the street in front of the house. Their windows were rolled up. They saw the Scion on the front yard. Jennifer threw the car in park. I could hear them, their windows were up, and I could hear them screaming, right, when the windows were up, and they ran up, and Jess gave me a look and a smile that made it worth every single no I had ever taken. Right? Every single time that somebody, I gave it everything I had and they quit, or every time I was scared to make an appointment, but I went and I made the appointment anyway, or every disappointment I had and stuff like that, that one smile, right, made it all worthwhile, you know. Tyler asked her to marry him, and this was when we were building the house, and this was their room, and he wrote rose petals on the floor, "Will you marry me?" You know, and you just forget how sweet young love is, you know, and just they grew up in such a clean, wholesome environment. Their idea, when he first came from Colorado, he was 18 and she was 17, and they started dating. Their idea of a good time was like to go to the pet store. You know, they didn't do drugs, they didn't do alcohol, they just had always come up in the kind of environment, just, you know, it's like not just what we say, but it's our actions and the people they surround. When they were married, she asked me, "Will you come over? I've picked out a dress, and I would like to see, I'd like to know what you think about it, and I'd like for you to take a look at it." And I went, "Well, sure, sweetheart." And I went over, and I mean, she walked out, and she was stunning. I just sat there and I just started bawling. You know, I was like, "Oh my God, Jess, you are beautiful. That is a beautiful dress, you should have it." What I found out later, it was like the most expensive dress in the store. And she wanted me, "Let's write a check for this dress." And it's like, okay. But you know what? This was a storybook wedding. It will be a lifetime, you know, a lifetime love affair. And this is her grandfather who walked her down the aisle. And it was really, really incredible. But she was pregnant with Austin a year later, and we took a vacation over to Hawaii and decided just before they started having kids that we would do this. And then there was number one. All of a sudden, Austin was born. About, I guess it was like a year and a half or 2 years after they were married. Buddy, I felt so sorry for their dog, because just from the time she has been 3 years old, wanted to be a mother, right? And we have friends who are dentists.